and today I will try to read in 20 minutes, only read, because in English it's so difficult to me, may make comments, okay, about alcoholism and its consequences. Various ideas, new ideas to you. The vice of alcohol and its consequences. In the concept of the inhabitants of your spiritual sphere, this is the medium asking to Ramatis and spirits, high spirits, in your spiritual sphere. Is alcohol also considered one of the great evils on the earth? This is the question from Ercílio Maes to Ramatis. And the answer: in our spiritual sphere, we don't consider the alcohol industry as an evil, but rather as an undeniable benefit to humankind. Rather, I think is this the pronounce. Your world always many favors to alcohol, for it is an element of great utility. It serves to manufacture syrups, paints, and disinfectants. It powers engines, fuels stoves, illuminates dwellings, sanitizes hands, disinfects COVID, disinfects hypodermic syringes, and infected contusions. Infected. It cleans furniture and clothing, removes stains and cleans objects, glasses, destroys dangerous germs, and enriches the resource of the world chemistry. Used sparingly in medicines, it stimulates to cardiac apparatus, aids liver filtration, and unclogs veins affected by fats, especially in elderly men. It's the abuse of its consumption that deserves censure, for it degrades, depresses, and kills, even though it's used to manufacture the most varied drinks that are presented with the pompous advertisements. The alcoholic, whether the one who gets drunk on expensive whiskey or the one who indulges in cheap cachaça, is nothing more than a living vessel through which many disembodied and addicted spirits strive to drink etherically and relieve their burning thirst for alcohol. Often man rebels against the vicissitudes, this is the danger, vicissitudes of human life, and therefore gives himself over the constant drunkenness, but he does not know that cunning entities from the shadows follow him incessantly, nurturing the hope of making him their living vessel or their absorbent tentacle in the carnal world. Question: does this mean that all disembodied drunkards live in search of living vessels on earth to satisfy their addiction? Isn't that right? Does it mean that all disembodied drunkards live in search of living vessels on the earth to satisfy their addiction? Isn't that right? Ramatis answer is the same. book, this matter is the same book, Physiology of the Soul, and about only alcohol. Few incarnate beings now, the terrible danger that few incarnate beings know, the terrible danger that lurks behind the vice of alcohol. For drunkenness is always one of the situations most targeted by addicted spirits. Addicted spirits seeking the desired living bridge to satisfy their desires in the material world. Disembodied spirits will enslaved by the passions and vices of the flesh due to the lack of a physical body, are seized by terrible anguish at the desire to ingest the alcohol, to which they became unrestrainedly addicted in the physical world, due to the easy natural excitability of the astral body. This desire is multiplied 100-fold in the form of an unbearable and desperate anxiety, as happens with morphine addicts who are only calmed by morphine. And it's a furious, overwhelming, and sadistic desire. The victim hallucinates experiencing the most terrifying and annihilating visions. And when this happens with unscrupulous spirits, they are capable of all infamies and depravities against the incarnate, to quench their thirst for alcohol, resembling the most desperate slaves to drug addiction. The neophytes without physical bodies who arrive in the afterlife burning, the life not finished here, sorry, who are addicted and think, when I was dead, all this will disappear. No, my friend. This will be so much a hell, so much more bad than a bad movie of a movie from the ghosts that I forgot the name. Terror movies. So much of this, so much from this. How they talk it. The neophytes without physical bodies who arrive out the afterlife burning with alcoholic desire soon learn from these incarnate veterans the best way to partiality quench their alcoholic thirst, as we the life continue other life, how here. As we have said many times, after this incarnation, souls seek each other out and become attuned, attacked by the same vices, ideas, feelings, habits, and intentions. As a consequence of this law, the incarnate who become addicted to alcoholic beverages also come to accompanied by spirits of discarnate alcoholics, still enslaved by the same degrading vice, who do everything to transform their victims to living goblets, to satiate their desires. See this? Generally, unfortunate alcoholics, after leaving their alcohol-soaked bodies in gutters, hospital beds, or even wealthy wards, awaken here driving Wilsey words. Awaken Hill driving mad by the desperate desire to satisfy their addiction. When confronted with the reality of survival in the afterlife and understanding that a higher spiritual life demands liberation from this degrading vice, they despair and refuse to relinquish their perverse desire. Only a small number of them submit to the therapy of purifying suffering and manage to resist to the morbid craving, achieving the greatest possible elimination of the remaining toxic etheric fluid of alcohol, and then receive the help of benefactors and are aided in overcoming the most agonizing phases after that. Certain courageous and determined souls, after completely detaching themselves from the desires for alcohol, ardently dedicate themselves to helping alcoholics on earth, not only influencing them to abandon the vice, but also cooperating in spiritual environments and religious institutions, bringing sick and suffering alcoholics there in order to inspire them to quickest liberation from the domination of the terrible adversary. This is why some clairvoyant mediums are surprised to find that while some spirits of former drunkards cooperate in their mediunic work, others, still rebellious and unconformed, prefer to further degrade themselves in the execrable task of preparing living vessels that on the surface on the earth operate slaved to satisfy their desires. Question. When the spirits tell us that the death of physical body does not extinguish the desires to consume alcohol, it don't finish with that. We are confused because the body is physical. Everything leads us to believe that the earthly tomb seals the definitive boundary of physical sensations. Are we mistaken in our reasoning? And Ramatis answered, "Disincarnation does not destroy desires. We are a group of desire inside us, desire, act, and memory. If you want to change it, change the acts. Change the acts. We will, step by step, let to use addiction and broken the acts to make this. Is this day by day is still difficult? We must turn so much far the hour that we will use addiction until eliminate from our mind the memory of this, and make a gospel in your house to clean the environment, change your thoughts, and a great faith in God. I remember that I had this to stop. I remember. Great faith in God to stop with this, to ask God to give strength to us. Let this so far to don't finish how they name it, this have an absurd name. To define what is spirits addicts in other plan, what they see us Continue, Ramatis answered the question. If that he tires this body, how we continue having necessity to addiction? Then they answer, this incarnation doesn't destroy desires. We are desires, act and memory. Because these are psychic and not physical. Psychic, you can understand, spiritual life is psychic. After bodily death, when the soul finds itself prevented from alcoholic satisfaction, it's precisely when its desire intensifies even more, and the idea of the impossibility of the satisfying the vice produces terrible despair. We must understand what happened after the death to start to cut this totally when we are alive in here, because we will alive in another dimension. For a long time, occult tradition has taught you that the astral body, as one of the vehicles that compose the perispirit, is truly the body of desires. Perispirit is the body of a spirit. Perispirit is truly the body of desires, in which the spirit's desires resides, and all the residues, desire resides, and all the residues produced by its emotions and passions living in past millennia are preserved. It's through this extremely subtle astral body constituted of all the psychic and emotional essence since its planetary origin that the spirit's desire true manifests. Within this delicate structure, all the echoes and stimuli of passions, desires, and vices that have vibrated in the soul through its previous physical incarnations act, cry out, and dominate. And that is why the mere prospect of not being able to quench the agonizing thirst for alcohol brought from earth leaves these unfortunate alcoholics blind and driving mad by the most excruciating afflictions. The shackles of any convention of affectionate duties break free from them, leading them to commit the vilest depravities to obtain alcohol. Those who have witnessed the alcoholic attacks of addicts and felt compassion for their hallucinatory delusions have undoubtedly not observed 20% of what happens to these unfortunate souls. The most bad situation within a home with an alcoholic is only 20%. Not observe 20% of what happens to these unfortunate souls desperate for their vice. See this. When brutally cast into the astral world. Furthermore, the entities of darkness seek to assist the newly arrived addicts in space, teaching them patience and to seek their elected medium on earth in order to make it a docile living vessel. Is the name. Living vessel is this you are to addicts in spiritual world that are constantly seeking the next victim. Furthermore, the entities of darkness seek to assist the newly arrived addicts in space, teaching them patience and to seek their elected medium on earth in order to make it a docile living vessel that, in the form of a channel, will mitigate their burning thirst for alcohol in the material world. Then is not an industry in this planet. Have another industry there seeking victims, new victims. Because these, my friends, we must ever make the gospel in our home, observe our acts, control substances to don't desire. Let us body with an anesthesia when suffering come to turn us more strong, to don't make crazy things, and not anesthesiate this body with drugs, medicine. People that take medicine to sleep is the same, is an addiction. I knew a person that for more than 20 years used anesthetic medicine every time he were contrariated by his sons. What is this? It's the ego saying, no, you don't will suffer. You must command all people. If you don't get command, you drink a medicine to anesthesiate this. What is this? We don't can control no one. You don't can control external world. No, it's an illusion. We must develop and focus in our development of strong moral fibers. And in difficulties, secured in hands of God and in hands of a parent near you to give you strong, but not anesthesiate. Never this. Ask help in God, has help in angels, and believe in you. You have strong to pass to so much bad things, because God don't give this to a person that don't will support. Only we with our revolted way will take us to the abyss. Without God, we will be in abysm. Putting medicine and drugs and addiction up of power of God, what you are making, you are giving strong to addiction spirits, vampires, and to obsessors. Is this? And losing your strong. Don't make this. search ever get the hands of God, and don't let this, never. I hope you understand, and desire to you an excellent final week for all of you. Until the next.